going on, real estate family? So for some reason this original footage, the video just stopped working after 2 minutes, but luckily the audio still works, so I just decided to add in a montage of different homes as a background video because the audio still works. So feel free to check out the video, guys. It's still very powerful. I wanted to give you guys as much value as possible just so that you're not missing out on anything powerful. Share this video, guys, with another real estate agent who you know for a fact will get value from this. This is very powerful, and that's why I still wanted to share it with everyone. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, family. All right, so if you're a real estate agent and if you want to start making 5 to 10 sales every single month, listen very closely. So in the next couple of minutes, I'm actually going to be walking you through everything that you need to know to consistently get 5 to 10 sales a month. Literally, this is guaranteed, but you have to follow everything that I'm saying step by step and listen to my advice and take it, because if you're not going to take it, then you don't get it. So let's get started. All right, so what we want basically is 5 to 10 sales per month. All right, cool. So in order for us to hit 5 to 10 sales a month, I need to quickly walk you through the 3 main ways you will be driving sales in real estate. Okay, the 2 you guys are familiar with, but 1 some of you guys are not familiar with, depending if whether you are familiar with my channel or not. But let's dive in and I'll walk you through everything. All right, so here's the thing, guys. I really do need to stress and emphasize this. Okay, it is very important to understand that in order for you to hit the next level, you have to start trying and doing new things, because insanity, or the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over and over again and not getting and expecting a different result. All right, so it's always important to understand that if you keep doing the same thing, you cannot expect a different result. Okay, so let's jump straight into it. All right, guys, so number 1, traditional. Now, the methods that most of you guys are probably getting clients is through the traditional side, right? So how is that traditional side? What is that traditional side specifically? So number 1, it could be, hey, maybe you're cold calling. Maybe you are going door to door. Maybe you are sending flyers. Maybe you are doing road shows. Maybe you are going to the private estates and engaging with security guards. Now, the core element behind the traditional side, if we have to really look into it in detail, is that number 1, it takes time. And number 2, there's a high amount of effort that's put into place. Okay, so what do I mean by that, right? What do I mean that it takes time and there's a lot of high amount of effort that puts into play? If you're cold calling, all right, what is that doing? You have to dial and actually make the calls. That takes time, that takes effort. Does it work? For some people, yes, it does. For most people, it doesn't. But there are still people who get good results through cold calling. And I will never come here and tell you that, no, you should stop cold calling, because there are people actually killing you with cold calling. But 2 stone cold truths is that it takes time, all right, and it takes a lot of effort. And honestly speaking, I just don't want that for you guys, all right? Do you want to continue cold calling? Do you want to continue having to put in the hours every single time? What happens when you have a full day of appointments? Then what? Okay, so that is one thing I really want to mention in terms of, look, that is the biggest issue I see with the traditional side. Takes too much time, takes too much effort. So that's number 1, right? Just in terms of how most of you guys are currently getting most of your sales, right? Or how you guys are currently getting your stock, listings, whatever you decide to call it. But of course, before you make a sale, you need to have the stock. And this is what I see happen most oftentimes, all right? Now, I'm still trying to figure out this interactive whiteboard, guys. So you guys are going to have to bear with me for a second as I move forward. Just trying new stuff, new technology. I see the lighting is always going on and off. So just be patient with me, guys. Pay attention to the content and the messaging. Don't mind everything else. All right, cool, guys. So number 2, just in terms of how many of you guys are currently getting clients, okay, is referrals. Okay. Now, I've seen that some of you guys have been fortunate enough to grow your business through directly referrals, and that is amazing. Don't get me wrong. Okay. But here's the big caveat around referrals. Okay. You're limited. And here's why you're limited. Okay, you're limited when it comes to referrals purely because if I had to say to you, all right, how many referrals are you going to get next month? You can't tell me. So it's not scalable. It's not predictable. So you are literally at the mercy of your network. You're at the mercy of your clients, right, referring you. And that for me, I don't know about you guys, but that is a big risk, because what if you don't get clients for 2-3 months? Then what? Are you just going to, run around the house and pray and do all these funny rituals so that you can start getting business? No. All right. Do you want to focus on hoping for business, or do you actually want to have a system that's going to help you get more business? And that's the reason why some of you guys are not consistently getting 5 to 10 sales a month, is because you're either doing something that's taking way too much time and effort, or you're relying on something that is limited, which basically means that you don't even know if you're going to get clients or not next month, because you are relying on purely something that is all dependent on your clients, on your network. And that is not good business. All right. And I want to help you guys look into it from this perspective, that you can still focus on traditional. You can still focus on referrals. But there's one more aspect that could really help change the business. And then I'm going to walk you guys through exactly step by step what would be the best way for you to maximize this so that you can ultimately get 5 to 10 sales a month. All right. So the third thing is, okay. So the third thing is digital marketing. Now, here's the reason why I am such a big advocate and a big proponent of digital marketing. So back when I started off my journey, I mainly focused on the traditional side, all right, which is basically cold calling. And yes, it worked, okay, but it took a lot of time and effort. And over some time, I would start getting referrals. But even in that case, I realized that, hey, okay, I'm actually getting to a point where I don't necessarily need to make any cold calls. I can purely rely on referrals. But then there would come months where I don't get any referrals. And that made me scared, because it's like, okay, so what's going to happen next month? Is next month going to be the same as this month? What if this happens for the next 3 to 4 months? Then what? So I hated going through the what ifs and the what ifs and the what ifs. And I was like, you know what? I just want something more predictable. I was like, what if I just had a model that could help me get clients on autopilot? So if I wanted to get 10 clients next month, I knew down to what exact number I need to hit in order for me to get 10 clients without all the time and the effort, all right? Without me having to constantly push out the time and the effort. And I know some of you guys might be like, well, I have people who are doing cold calling for me. All right, great, that's perfect, okay? But the problem is that when you have people are also, how do I say it? As humans, we're fallible, all right? And anything can happen. That person could fall sick. That person could get a better opportunity. And then you need to go and hire someone else, which takes up more time. If you've hired people, then you know it takes time to train them. It takes time to get someone really good. And it's not to say that you cannot scale it that way. You can. But again, what do you want? Do you want to focus all your time and effort on training people, or do you want to focus all your time and effort on building quality relationships with your market? And I can tell you now, when you incorporate digital marketing, for example, utilizing AI, because digital marketing is very broad, by the way, okay? But when you're using things like, for example, an AI full automated system, things get a lot better and easier. Why? Because AI knows exactly who to target, then it can qualify them, and then it can book automatic appointments. So now you have a system that, for example, you have traditional that's working very well for you, okay? Because you have a system that's working for you. Let's say, for example, traditional, you're currently getting 3 to 4 deals from your traditional side, which is cold calling, going door to door, whatever it is, okay? Then you get about 2 or 3 referrals a month, specifically from clients, okay? So let's say on a consistent basis, you're getting 3 deals from your traditional, you're getting another 2 to 3 deals from your referrals, and then AI can add another 2, 3, 4, even 5 deals a month consistently on top of what you're already using to make your life a lot easier. That is the power, guys, of utilizing both. Because when you utilize both, you become this. And I really want to emphasize this to really help you guys understand the power behind this. Because I see many of you guys look at AI as a threat or something that is gonna stop you from what you're doing. Okay. When you use all 3 of the things that I've mentioned right now in a second, this is what it helps you become. It helps you become omnipresent. Now, in simple terms, you are everywhere. Because, funny story, today I was in Pretoria, and I'm not really familiar with Pretoria. I'm a Joburg, a hardcore Joburger. And as I was driving in Pretoria, I've always heard of how competitive it is in Pretoria, how so many agents are in Pretoria, and it's hard to stand out. And as I was driving to the gym in Pretoria, I was looking at all the street poles, and there's just every single street pole has a different real estate agent's billboard or board. And I'm thinking to myself, do these guys actually think that they're standing out by doing this? Because I literally could count that there's probably 7 or 8 different agents who had different boards. And it's like, you're not going to stand out that way, because here's the thing. When you offer your market too many different choices, they don't know what to select. If you had to go to Woolies, if you had to go to a store, let's say you want to go get yourself a sandwich, all right? And then there's 10 different options. Let's say you like 5 different options. It's hard for you to come to the conclusion or decision on what you want. Why? Because there's too many different options. But now when there's like 2 or 3 options, okay, it makes it a lot easier and better for you to make a decision. So the thing that I'm trying to say is that a confused customer doesn't buy. So if you're going to consistently bombard your market with just different flyers or different boards everywhere they go, they're just going to end up just relying on, figuring out, okay, who's the best agent? Let me actually go talk to Pete. Let me go talk to my friend and find out who sold their home. All right. So when you are omnipresent, this allows you to maximize your sales and also maximize the amount of listings that you're getting, because you're now maximizing every type of customer. So let me explain this in a way to really help you guys understand, because many of you guys don't really understand this, because I understand you guys are not trained on this. So listen very carefully, all right? Because I really want to help you guys understand how to target all 3 types of your customers, all right? So you're going to get customers who strictly, okay, this is very important. You're going to get customers who are more focused on being receptive on the traditional side. So what do I mean by traditional customers? These are customers who are focused on, for example, human interaction. So the beauty on the traditional side is that there's a human interaction. So the fact that maybe you cold calling them, or you went door to door, or you had to reach out to them in some way, shape, or form, right? There's a human to human interaction. Okay, whether it's through the phone or it's in person, but there's that human interaction. So your customer, all right, you have a customer that is happy and is happy to go according to the traditional aspect of things, because that's how they do business. That's how they trust you, through traditional. So there's going to be a market that specifically will only work with someone through the traditional human interaction side of things. Okay. And that could be, as I've mentioned earlier on, the cold calling, door-to-door, roadshows, etc. Then there's the other type of customer who will only engage with you through word of mouth. Okay? Which is referrals. So what I've noticed, especially for top people, the best of the very best, when you have reached a certain level of income, when you have reached a certain level of status, you can't just work with any Tom, Dick, and Harry. You need to work with someone that you know, like, and trust. And most oftentimes, you don't have time to be searching to see who's the best, because that takes time. Okay, so what do? You reach out to other top people in your field to find out from them, hey, who sold your home? Hey, I'm looking for the best agent. Who's the best agent that you've worked with? Or who helped you find this house, for example? And then guess what? That top level person, that top executive or entrepreneur or business owner is going to be like, oh, I actually worked with this person, or I worked with this person, or I worked with this person. Okay. And then now that is how you're getting business, through word of mouth, through referrals. Why? Because I've seen a lot of top level people will only work with you through a recommendation from someone else who they viewed as a top level person because they've got a good relationship. And they know that because their relationship with that other top level person, they know that that person doesn't also deal with mediocrity. They know that person is not average. So they know that whoever that person recommends is going to be the best agent. So that's why they only just work off referrals. So my mentor always says that he doesn't, when he sees, for example, an ad, he doesn't click on it. He only works with people that recommend him to someone or recommend someone to him. That is it. He does not click on ads. He does not answer cold calls. He doesn't do that. He only works off recommendation. And that really opened my mind, like, damn, okay, so high-level people only work through word of mouth. But again, there's another type of audience, which many of you guys I see, and that is through status. So this is a culmination of, for example, people who are like top level people, but more middle class and upper middle class. Status is another big element here, and that's why I like digital marketing, because you are standing out from everyone else. So you're going to get another type of customer that's going to work with you based off your status, based on the fact that you're different, based on the fact that it could also just be a case of timing, but status is a big point here. And what I mean by that is when you're working with a buyer or a seller that saw you online through your ad, you automatically have a higher status because they come into you. You attracted them. So it just makes the business interaction a lot better, a lot easier, which means that they will follow your lead. They will trust you more, provided you are someone worth listening to. So what I mean by that is when you have content on your page, when you're educating people, all right, and when you're also putting yourself out there and you've got good reviews and you're showcasing all of that and you're documenting it, there's a higher level of trust as opposed to those who don't have any of that, all right, but they just rely on human interaction. This is where they lose because they don't have the digital status. And in today's day and age, if you're not online, you don't exist. It's just plain simple math. And the point that I'm trying to make here is that if you want to be driving 5 to 10 sales a month, you need to be honing in on all those three. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Traditional, you can do it, right? You can obviously make the calls. You can obviously go door to door. You can obviously do your flyers. Now, am I saying that you need to do that? No, you don't have to. You can just purely focus on building your status online, and that is it. But what is that going to do? It's going to limit the human interaction because you're mainly digital. So there's going to be customers that just purely want to interact with you in person, but because you're digital, that's where the trust element could come into play. Okay, maybe because they were scammed in the past. And the same thing happens with the traditional side. Maybe you only do traditional. Great. But then guess what happens? You are limiting your growth because now you don't have an online status. So you're going to limit your growth from people who want to work with someone that they have seen online and that they can learn from. Okay. And if you're someone that just only relies on word of mouth, Okay, that's great, but then what is that going to do? It's going to limit your growth. It's going to limit your growth purely because you're only going to be working with people that you're only going to work with people that come to you from a recommendation. What happens if there's no recommendation in 2 to 3 months? So the point that I'm trying to make here, guys, is that when you incorporate all three, that is what makes you powerful. But you can still only focus on one. But the thing is, if you're going to focus on one, then you really have to have a higher level amount of output. So let's say, for example, you're doing, 100 calls a day in order for you to then close 3 deals a month. So essentially, you need to make sure you're doing 400 to 500 calls consistently every single day if you want to hit 5 to 10 deals a month. It's literally just a matter of numbers, okay? If you only want to be focusing on traditional, but if you're incorporating all three, okay, when you, let's say, for example, doing 100 calls a day and that's helping you get 3 deals, and then you're also incorporating utilizing AI automation and ads. You can go check out a couple of my videos. It will walk you through exactly step by step. In fact, I'll pop up either one of the two here in terms of how that process works, just to see how it works. When you also incorporate the status side of things, now it makes it a lot easier and better. Why? Because now you're getting deals from the traditional with people who value human interaction. Then you're also getting people who value status, right? You're also working with people who value the fact that you're putting your time and effort on putting yourself out there so that they can get to know, like, and trust you, okay? And then a combination of these two will then automatically get you more word of mouth deals. Why? Because now the people who value human interaction and the people who value status, once they start working with you, then they get a good value out of you, then you're going to get more word of mouth deals as a byproduct of implementing the two. So literally that is it, guys, step by step. If you only want to focus on status, it is still guys, I have clients who just purely focus on status by utilizing our AI automation system, and they're killing it. All right. But again, it all works on numbers. Some of you guys, let's say, for example, you're only using status, but you're only running ads. You're not putting out content. All right. You're not adding value. You're just posting listings. How do you expect to grow your digital footprint if you're just posting listings, not running ads? You're not consistent with your content. You're not educating people. A lot of you guys are just not doing enough. And if you had to just do enough, it is literally that, guys. Business is so simple. It is not complicated. It is us that make it complicated because we think that to succeed in business, you have to complicate things. No, you don't have to complicate anything at all. All right. Just stick to the basics. The successful people do the basics really well. And that's what I noticed. Top guys just focus on traditional. All right. And they do it for so long that that's how they get word of mouth. And then they just focus on these two. But the problem is that they struggle to get consistent, let's say 10 deals a month, as an example, as an individual agent. Okay. It just makes it very difficult to get to that point because they're only focusing on these two and they're wondering, hey, how do I scale? How do I get to the next level? Well, you need to have online status. Because when you have the online status and a digital footprint, guess what? You're now omnipresent. You're no longer just focused on one avenue side of things, but you're also focusing on the other side, which then opens up a whole new customer base, which then helps you then consistently get more deals. It is literally that simple, guys. You do not have to complicate it. Focus on traditional and digital. That will then automatically help you get more word of mouth deals. And now you engage with every customer, every type of customer, and that is how you start to dominate. Anyways, if you got a lot of value in this video, feel free, guys, to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you need some advice, if you want to learn a little bit more about what we can do to help you build more status in your business, maybe because you're doing very well with traditional and you're like, you know what, I want to start focusing on building an online digital footprint so I can get more status, I have attached my calendar link at the bottom. Click on it, book in a call with me. I want to get a little bit of an idea in terms of what's your strategy. And then let me see what will be the best option for us to help and assist you, just so that you can start getting those consistent deals. That is the way and how we work nowadays, guys. You have to incorporate traditional and digital. Can you do either or? Yes. But then you have to really put in an uncomfortable amount of either money to build your status, all right? And effort as well, if you're going to be doing content. And that's the same thing here from a traditional side. But traditional side is going to take a lot of time and effort, but not money. So at the end of the day, guys, it's all up to you. I really want to give you guys as much value as possible. Things that people are not going to teach you in the real estate industry because they're only either focusing on either or. But for you guys who really want to crush it, you have to be omnipresent and focus on all three. Or let me rather say, word of mouth will just be a byproduct of you focusing on traditional and the online. Anyways, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care.